Today we're going to talk about how to measure a pair of jeans. This is a really important step into finding a new pair of jeans, especially if you don't have the ability to go in person and try them on. So the first thing you want to do is find a pair of jeans that you think fits you well. This is going to serve as a jumping off point for any new fit you might find online. I always like to start with measuring the waist first. This is the first problem point for most people, and it's the first thing you're going to notice as soon as you put the jeans on. So to do this, try and get the top and the bottom waistband as close together as possible. And then take your measuring tape. I'm just using a simple, flexible tailor's tape. You can find these at most drugstores. Now take the corner of it and place it on one side of the waistband and measure straight across all the way to the other side. And right there, you'll be able to find that waist measurement. After the waistband measurement, the next most important one is the front rise. Any of these rise measurements are going to help you understand where the jean is going to sit on your waist. So for this, we're going to measure from this spot on the four-way seam all the way to the top of the waistband. Take this measuring tape corner, put that edge right on the edge of the seam there, and carefully trace right up the front until it meets at the top of the front waistband. Once the front rise is measured, we want to finish out the top block so you have a full understanding of how it's going to sit on your waist. After that front rise, the first thing you want to do is flip the jean over, and now we're going to measure the back rise. Now this can be a little bit tricky because some jeans like to sit a little curled over, some don't sit totally flat. So it's important to make sure you can get this as straight as possible. Just like the front rise, we're going to take the edge of the tape and butt it right up against that four-way seam. Carefully trace this tape all the way up the back until you reach the top of the waistband. And that's your back rise measurement. After we finish measuring the back rise, we're going to measure the thigh and the rest of the leg. So flip the jean back over. With any measurements down the leg, it's really important to measure from edge to edge, not from seam to seam like we would on any of the rise measurements. And so for the thigh measurement, we're going to measure from 1 inch down from the four-way seam. Take the measuring tape, place the edge right on the edge of the pant, again, laying completely flat, and carefully trace that across until it ends right on the other side, and that's your thigh measurement. After the thigh, the next measurement we'll take is the knee measurement. So we like to measure 14 inches down from the four-way seam. Just like the thigh, bump this measuring tape right up to that seam and carefully trace it down the inseam until you find that point at 14 inches. Once you find that, make sure this knee is pressed flat and measure from edge to edge. After you finish the knee measurement, you can take the leg opening measurement. This is an important measurement for most people because this is going to help differentiate whether you have a slim jean, straight leg, something wider, or something kind of in between there. So what you want to do here, move the jean up, find that bottom, press that flat, take the measuring tape, and just measure straight across. Once we've measured the leg, the last thing we have to do is measure the inseam. I always like to turn the jean on its side so it's super accessible, really easy to find these seams. And for this, you're going to measure from the four-way seam straight to the bottom of the leg opening. And once you pivot the jeans and lay them flat on the table, we're going to take the measuring tape, and just like we did for many of the leg measurements, we're going to start the four-way seam and carefully measure all the way down the inside of the leg. Many people think they know their inseam, but most times you'll be surprised that it's actually quite different. And it's important to measure, especially because the front rise and the back rise will change how this jean's gonna sit and how it's gonna fit. I hope this has been informative. Thank you for watching.